Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner. And Rudolf and I are chatting around sovereign clouds, OCS or Oxide Cloud Services, which is data science's public cloud offering. And one of the things that is always a consideration with cloud services, especially when you start using them, is exchange rate, Rudolf.
Yeah.
And typically, we see that hyperscalers or externally positioned organizations such as Microsoft and AWS and international based cloud providers, they obviously still have to bill within their currency, right? So it's usually a dollar-based bill that organizations get. Cost controls, exchange rates. What does that mean for organizations, and what's some of the war stories you've heard out in the market around that, right? Shocked financial
Yeah.
controllers and.
Yeah, I think one of the things around the hyperscalers and services in the hyperscalers is the ease of provisioning, which is a
Absolutely.
great thing from an operational point of view. But from a cost containment point of view, it becomes a little bit tricky because it's so easy to consume new services and to provision new services. From financial controls point of view,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of organizations. It's almost like in the days when virtualization just started taking off, and you had a large horror stories of VM sprawl.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we're seeing that now in the hyperscalers, in the cloud, where
Yeah.
people spin up services, they provision services, they use it for a little while, then the project gets abandoned or it's not feasible or something, and they never actually decommission that service, or they never spin that down.
Yeah.
And that kind of sits buzzing in the background, and
Nobody tells them it's
nobody
still
tells
running.
them it's still running, kind of thing. And it just adds to those costs. And we've seen companies that, from personal experience, I've seen large organizations that have gone wholly into the cloud because it's seems to be cheaper right off the bat.
Yeah.
And once they start running their production workloads, they do testing, it looks great. They start running production workloads, they get spikes, they get these unforeseen projects that ramp up.
Yeah.
And suddenly that cheaper cloud cost
Yeah.
becomes quite expensive.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for them then to contain, because it's a lot
Absolutely.
easier getting into the cloud and a
Yes.
lot easier migrating services into the cloud than trying to get that data back.
Yeah. To repatriate all of those
Yeah.
services or those pieces of infrastructure, compute or storage or
Yeah.
data or whatever. Yeah, to get it out is a big thing. And I think this is the thing, is that so you've got this operational unpredictability,
Yeah.
right? Which is kind of, part and parcel of the business. People,
100%.
I think people, can understand, and it's there's things, and you can to an extent try and mitigate that. I think the thing, because you've got a sense of control,
Yeah.
right? Or it's easier to place controls. The thing that you don't have control over
Yeah.
is the international markets,
100%.
monetary markets, and things like that. Exchange rate. So, what costs today, 18 Rand to the dollar is tomorrow 24 Rand to the dollar,
Yeah.
and the day after that is down to 16. That financial unpredictability,
100%.
is something that absolutely can wreak havoc.
Yeah. I think it's that the whole thing about that. They talk about that Chinese, whether it's a blessing or a curse, that may you live in interesting times. I think
Yes.
from a geopolitical and a geoeconomic standpoint, we definitely live in interesting times at the moment,
Yeah.
where small things,
Make huge effect. And
a tweet from the right person or
yeah,
important person causes massive swings in exchange rate, and it happens overnight.
yeah,
It can go from 19 Rand to 18 Rand to 20 Rand within the course of 2 weeks.
yeah. It's
3
massive
weeks,
swings.
it's massive swings, and it has a massive impact to that billing cycle.
Correct.
And I think that unpredictability also plays havoc with our customers, especially around the budgets. And the sound financial principle is knowing where your money is going to go.
Yeah, yeah,
And now suddenly having a 5-6% increase from a month to month expense just because of external factors makes it very, very difficult to contain those costs.
Yeah, I mean, you're and because that whole operating model has shifted. Let's say organizations who used to maybe a capital expenditure, they're now shifting to a more operational expenditure type thing, or they're still applying capital expenditure mindset to an OPEX profile, and it's not working for them, right?
Yeah, look, you see it in two ways. You've got the organizations that want CapEx because they can offset that on the balance sheet.
Correct.
And then you want the guys who want to run it as an OPEX.
Yeah.
They don't want a big investment and well,
it's usually linked to the service they're offering, right? So there's a cost to the service, and as the service generates more revenue, the costs ramp up in line with that, right? So as the revenue drops, the cost drops. So that
billing
flexibility,
and charge back, 100% billing and charge back,
and that's the flexibility that OPEX gives you. But when that goes out of kilter,
and then those organizations typically also don't want that depreciation on the asset.
Correct.
So they want to mitigate that depreciation by linking it to revenue generating streams.
Absolutely. So, annuity income business models.
100%.
So that's the challenges, right? So that's one of the things we're talking about, and the theme of our discussion really is about sovereign clouds, or doing things within the borders of South Africa. What does it mean? How does that contribute? What's the options available for customers? So if we can mitigate exchange rate as far as possible, obviously that, and you can still deliver on those business outcomes. That is something that I think is extremely valuable to organizations to consider, is to get a flat and fair fixed rate for a extended period of time. We look at trying to do it for at least 6 months, and we've often stretched to like a year on OCS, where we maintain the exchange rate, and that through a financial cycle is hugely valuable in terms of peace of mind, understanding your cost structures and making sure that you can carry your business properly.
I think one of the key things when I've chatted to our customers about OCS and what they like about OCS is as well as the transparency. They know exactly what they're consuming, and they know what that monthly cost is, and they know what that monthly cost is going to be.
Simple billing.
And they can also, from that, very easily calculate if it's a per terabyte cost. If they now grow per terabyte, they know exactly what they're going to be billed as they grow. So they've got that predictability, they've got that stability. And I think it all comes back. We talked in the previous session, we talked about the risk to your data. Now it's talking about the financial risk.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of it is, especially in times like this, it's about mitigating the risk for our customers and making sure our customers are not exposed to unnecessary risk.
Yeah, I agree so much with that. For people to move into a new area or to make a change, or they know they want to start adopting different business operations or innovate in different areas, but you have to be considerate around these risks, and the more we can mitigate them and allow organizations to feel safe, that there's certain guardrails in place 100%. For them to do this, that really gives organizations that comfort. There's a brutality sometimes to going into a new platform and you suddenly get hit with all of these unknowns. And 100%. That's what we try and do with OCS, is, take away as many of those unknowns as possible.
I also think that what is beneficial is with OCS and our cloud platform, we're not trying to be everything to everyone. We're not trying to compete with the big hyperscalers. Absolutely. We don't deliver it's a boutique service. We look at the needs of our customers. We develop the services that is required. We build it for them, and we build them accordingly.
Yeah. So I think, exchange rate, risk reduction, and, really focusing on what customers need rather than a beauty contest of a plethora of services is really where we try and shine. 100%. Thanks, Rudolf. It's good to chat with you again. And we'll do a couple more.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.